Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean, the waves crashing against the shore, each one representing a potential listener waiting to connect with your podcast. But here's the catch. If you don't know who's out there, waiting and listening, you'll never be able to create the content that resonates with them. Knowing your target audience is absolutely essential for creating a podcast that not only reaches people, but truly engages them. So, let's dive into this together. First things first, let's define what we mean by target audience. Your target audience is essentially a group of listeners who share common interests, challenges, or needs that align with the niche of your podcast. Picture this. If your podcast is all about eco-friendly living, your audience might consist of environmentally conscious individuals who are actively seeking tips and tricks to live a more sustainable lifestyle. They're looking for guidance, inspiration, and maybe even a little motivation to make those greener choices. Now, when we talk about understanding your audience, there are a couple of key factors to consider. Demographics are the first layer. Think about age, gender, location, profession, and education level. For instance, if you're producing a podcast focused on financial literacy, you might find that your ideal listeners are young adults aged 18 to 30, those who are just starting their careers and trying to navigate the often confusing world of personal finance. They're looking for relatable advice, practical tips, and strategies that can help them make sense of their financial lives. The demographics are just the tip of the iceberg. To truly connect with your audience, you need to dive deeper into psychographics. This is where you explore their interests, values, lifestyles, and pain points. Let's say you're launching a wellness podcast. Your target audience might be health-conscious listeners who are eager to learn about mindfulness practices, nutrition tips, and overall well-being. They're not just looking for information. They're searching for a community, a place where they feel understood and supported in their journey to live healthier lives. So how do you go about researching this audience? Well, there are plenty of tools and platforms at your disposal. Start by analyzing your competitors. Look at similar podcasts in your niche and take note of their audience. What are they saying in the reviews? What topics are generating the most buzz on social media? This is goldmine information that can help you understand what listeners are craving. And don't underestimate the power of social media. Engage with potential listeners in online communities that relate to your niche. Ask questions, participate in discussions, and genuinely listen to what people are saying. You can even conduct surveys or polls. For example, if you're running a fitness podcast, a simple poll asking, "What's your biggest challenge in staying fit?" can provide invaluable insights that shape your episode topics and content direction. Once you've gathered all this information, it's time to get creative and develop listener personas. These are fictional profiles of your ideal listeners that can guide your content creation. Let's create an example persona for a parenting podcast. Meet Jane. She's 34 years old, lives in the suburban Midwest, and is passionate about child development, family activities, and healthy cooking. But like many parents, she struggles to balance work and parenting. By understanding Jane's interests and pain points, you can create content that speaks directly to her experiences, making her feel seen and heard. Now, understanding how and when your audience listens is just as crucial. Are they tuning in during their commutes, while working out, or during some well-deserved leisure time? Knowing this can help you optimize your content delivery. You might discover that busy professionals prefer shorter episodes under 20 minutes, while hobbyists might enjoy longer, in-depth discussions. Tailoring your content length to their listening habits can significantly enhance their engagement. And let's not forget about aligning your content with audience preferences. Use the insights you've gathered to create episodes that cater to their needs. If your audience is interested in self-improvement, focus on actionable tips and inspirational stories rather than abstract theories. They want to walk away from each episode with something they can implement in their lives, something that adds value. But remember, understanding your audience is not a one-time task. It's an ongoing process. Be sure to monitor audience feedback and analytics consistently. Track which episodes receive the most downloads or engagement. Are there particular topics that resonate more than others? Use this data to adjust your future content. It's all about creating a feedback loop where you're constantly refining your understanding of your audience and adapting to meet their needs. Let's consider a few examples of audience alignment to wrap this up. If you have a podcast focused on personal finance, your target audience might be young professionals aged 20 to 35. You'll want to create content that includes budgeting tips, investment strategies, and debt management advice. For a vegan cooking podcast, your audience might be health-conscious individuals looking for simple vegan recipes and grocery shopping guides. The key is to align your content focus with the interests and challenges of your listeners. In summary, knowing your target audience is not just a box to check. It's the foundation of your podcast's success. By defining who they are, researching their preferences, creating listener personas, understanding their listening habits, and continuously refining your approach, you can craft a podcast that truly resonates. So take the plunge, gather your insights, and start creating content that speaks directly to the hearts and minds of your listeners. They're out there, waiting for you to make that connection.